Let's give you guys the best budget gaming Prebuilt PCs of the month. My last video was about the best overall Prebuilt PCs of the month, covering a bunch of budgets. So if your budget is above $1,050, I recommend you going and watch that video instead of this one. Or if you want to build a PC instead of buying a Prebuilt PC, that's completely understandable, and I have a bunch of videos talking about them as well for different type of budgets. All the links will be provided down below in the description in case you're interested in buying one of these PCs. Without more to say, let's start. With the first one, we have one that's $487, which is really cheap for a gaming PC nowadays, especially a Prebuilt PC, because this one is renewed premium, meaning that it's going to work just fine, and the price is below $500. So if your budget is below $500, I recommend either this one or going with a console like a PS5 if you can get it below $500, or the Xbox Series S. This one has the GTX 1650, the i3 10100F for the CPU, 500 gigs of SSD and 8 gigs of DDR4 at 3200 MHz RAM. Now it's probably one stick of RAM. With that being said, I recommend you upgrading it to 16 gigs of RAM down the line if you cannot do it right now. The 1650 is going to give you a really decent performance at 1080p, so if you're looking for a starter gaming desktop and you don't have a ton of money to spend, this one is actually pretty decent, and right now it's a great time to buy either a PC build or a Prebuilt PC on a budget, considering that budget graphics cards are not coming to the market until next year, so you will probably have to wait another one whole year, which is a lot of time. With that being said, I think right now it's a great time to buy one of these PCs. However, my recommendation is to save more money until you get around $800 if you're on a tight budget. But if you cannot do this and you want a Prebuilt PC, you don't want to build it by yourself, this Prebuilt PC is going to be really decent. It has good airflow, 3 RGB fans, it's going to look great, and it's going to be really good especially at esports titles such as Valorant and CSGO. But if you're looking to play AAA titles, I do not recommend you this PC. With the next one, for $100 extra, we have the HP Pavilion Gaming Desktop from Amazon. I've tested an HP Pavilion, but that one has the i5 11400 instead of the i3 10100. This one is slightly better than the last one. You get the GTX 1650 Super, so it's going to perform better at 1080p. You get the i3 10100 instead of the 10100F, so you get that iGPU, which is going to be better for video editing. But anyway, it's the i3 10100. It's not going to be really capable of doing hard video editing or content creation. This one, it's a gaming CPU. Once again, the combination is really nice, but you get 8 gigs of RAM and 256 gigs of NVMe SSD, so I do recommend you both the storage and the RAM down the line if you can. And this one is brand new, it's not renewed, so that is going to be an extra point. Now, there was a time where the i5 11400 version of this PC was around $600, which is a no-brainer to go, but it's not on a deal right now, and that's why I'm recommending this one. However, I will keep you guys updated with Prebuilt PCs and PC builds throughout the whole month, so if you're interested in buying a PC and you want to keep the prices updated and get the best deals, I do recommend you hitting that bell button so you get notified when I do. The next one is surprisingly another Skytech Chronos Mini. This one is once again renewed premium. It's $660. Remember that this is from Amazon, so they got you covered in case anything goes wrong. It's a really trusted company, as you all know, and that's why I'm recommending it renewed. This one has the i5 10400F, which is going to be a huge upgrade from the i3 10100 for both gaming and multitasking. And then you get the GTX 1660, which is going to be better than both 1650 Super and of course the 1650. Then you get 1TB of NVMe SSD, so you get extra storage, and you get 16 gigs of RAM of DDR4 at 3200 MHz alongside a 600 watt 80 plus volt power supply that will leave you for a ton of upgrades in the future. I think that this PC, in terms of price to performance, is great. You will get a great experience at 1080p, and even for AAA titles you get 6 gigs of VRAM, which is really decent, and you will have no problem to run basically every single game at 60 FPS average. Of course, it's going to depend on the settings. Once again, you get that front mesh panel, so the airflow and overall upgradability for this PC is going to be really good. With the next one, we have the Victus 15L. This one is $730. You get the i5 12400, which is way better than the i5 10400F, especially because you get that iGPU, so for content creation, way better, and for gaming as well. And then you get the GTX 1660 Super, which is going to be the best one so far on this list, better than the 1660 and the 1650 Super. So for 1080p gaming, no problem, every single game, like I said before, 60 FPS average, and for competitive titles, you will be getting from 140 FPS on average all the way up to 240. So if you're thinking of buying a 240Hz monitor, a 1080p resolution of course, this PC is actually going to be the starting point to do that in my opinion. The base model, like I said, it's $730, but if you do the upgrades, it's going to cost you a little more. You're looking to spend an extra $150 on upgrades, which is a decent amount of money, but this is if you do it from the website. If you do it by yourself, it's going to cost you around $70, which is not that bad considering the performance and extra storage that you get. With the next one, for $1,000 we get the AVS Challenger Gaming PC from Newegg. This one has the i5 12400F. It's not going to be better than the 12400 for video editing. However, for gaming, you will achieve the same performance. So if you're looking for a gaming PC, you shouldn't be worried about the difference. Then you get the RTX 3050, which is like the 1660 Super, slightly faster, and you get new technologies such as ray tracing and DLSS. On top of that, this one is a system integrator, meaning that it's more upgradable than the last one, and you can upgrade all the components inside of this PC. You get 16 gigs of RAM of DDR4 at 3200 MHz, which once again it's all that you're going to need, and then you get 512 gigs of M.2 NVMe SSD, which is a good starting point. However, if you're going to download a bunch of games, I do recommend 1 TB or even 2, depending on how many games you're going to download and how big these games are. And then for an extra $50, we have the best one on the list. For $1,050 we get the HP Victus 15L again, but this time it has the i7 12700, which is by far the best CPU on this list. You don't need this i7 for gaming. To be honest with you, with the i5 it's going to be way more than enough, but it's nice to have this upgrade. And on top of that, you get the RTX 3060, 1 TB of hard drive and 500 gigs of SSD, so you get a way better CPU GPU combination than the last one, especially for content creation, but also for gaming, because the 3060 is actually way better than the 3050. As you all know, I think the 3060 is a top tier GPU for 1080p gaming. Right now it's overpriced on the market, but we are talking about Prebuilt PCs, and for this price, getting the RTX 3060 and the i7 12700 alongside 16 gigs of RAM, a terabyte and a half of total storage, it's actually pretty good at the price of $1,050, which is pretty decent. And if you use the coupon code that I will leave down below in the description, you get an extra 5% off, so it's going to cost you $1,000, the same as the AVS Challenger one, and I do recommend you going for this one if you want the best performance right now. However, like I said before, the other one, it's a system integrator, so if you're looking for upgradability and you want to change a bunch of components down the line, I recommend you going for the AVS Challenger one. But if you're looking for the best performance right now for gaming, content creation and even multitasking, this one, the Victus 15L, is going to perform much better. I actually have a whole review talking about a Victus 15L that is really similar to this one, but instead of the 3060 you get the 3060 Ti, which is a better GPU. I've tested this PC as well. I have a benchmarks video about this one at 1440p that I do recommend you go ahead and watch it if you're interested in one of these Victus PCs. If you find this video helpful, please leave a like and subscribe, but most importantly hit that bell button so you get notified when I upload this type of content. The next video is going to be about a really budget PC build at around $430 that is going to perform really decently at 1080p gaming. So if your budget is around $430 and you want a gaming PC, you really want to watch that video. It's a nice PC build and it's going to give you an excellent performance for the price at 1080p gaming. Thank you guys for watching, thank you for the support, and I will see you on the next one.